What if the biggest thing holding you back in your real estate business right now isn't the market, isn't the rates, isn't your lead source, your conversion rate, or your competition? What if it's what you're allowing yourself to think about? Not just sometimes, consistently, daily. The thing your mind defaults to when nobody's watching, when you're in the car, between appointments, when the pipeline's thin, when a deal falls apart and you're lying awake at 3 in the morning. Have you been there? What are you contemplating? Because here's what I've been contemplating lately. And I promise by the end of this episode, it's going to change the way you look at your business and your mindset entirely. Welcome to The Mindful Agent, where real estate success meets health, mindfulness, and personal growth. Join me, Michael Coxon, top performing agent and broker owner of Magenta Real Estate, as I explore the intersection of wellness and business excellence, helping you thrive in both real estate and life. A philosopher named Thomas Troward, writing over 100 years ago, cracked something open about the way human beings think, build, and create. He called it the Law of Flotation. And Dr. Wayne Dyer, one of the greatest teachers of our time, spent years unpacking why it applies to every single one of us trying to build something meaningful. The short version, the law of flotation was not discovered by contemplating the sinking of things. We're going to unpack what that means and exactly what it means for you as a real estate agent right now. I've been spending a lot of time lately with Wayne Dyer, not literally, the man passed in 2015, but through his recordings, his books, and his podcasts. And there's something he keeps coming back to that I can't stop thinking about. He talks about the philosopher Thomas Troward, and Troward lived and died over 100 years ago, as I mentioned. He was a judge by profession, a thinker by calling, and he had this concept he called the law of flotation. So here's the setup. For centuries, we built ships out of wood. Why? Because wood floats. Simple logic, right? If it floats, we should build a ship from that. And that was the belief. It was so embedded, so unexamined that nobody thought to ask, wait, is that actually how flotation works? And then someone asked that question. And here's what they discovered. Flotation has nothing to do with the material. It has everything to do with displacement. The amount of water you move based on the shape and volume of what you put into it. That's it. That's the whole law, which means iron, material that sinks on its own, dead weight, no question, can float if it's designed to displace enough water. And Troward said something about this that Dyer carried forward and that I want to plant right in the center of this episode. The law of flotation was not discovered by the contemplation of the sinking of things. So say that out loud again. The law of flotation was not discovered by the contemplation of sinking of things. It's kind of a mouthful, but I want you to stick with me. Dyer builds on this example with another example. We all know that the Wright brothers in North Carolina invented flight, for humans that is, and it was really one of the biggest, most audacious achievements in the history of civilization, right? I mean, how did they get there? They weren't contemplating how to stay on the ground. They weren't in their bicycle shop obsessing over every reason that, a machine heavier than air couldn't leave the ground. They weren't running the math on how to fail. They weren't building a detailed case for why it was impossible. They were locked in on how to fly. They were contemplating the flying of things, and that's how flight was discovered. Now, here's where I need you to get honest with yourself for a second. What are you contemplating? Right now, today in your business, when you sit in traffic between those appointments, when you lie awake at 3 a.m, when you scroll through your CRM and look at that weak pipeline, the numbers aren't where you want them to be. What's the dominant thought running in your mind? Because for a lot of agents, especially in a market like this one, the answer is some sort of version of, this isn't working. I can't make this happen. I'm up against too many obstacles. The rates are too high. The inventory's high. Buyers aren't buying. Sellers aren't selling. I don't know if I can hit my goals. That's the contemplation of the sinking of things. And here's what Dyer says about that. And this is the best part I really want you to hear. If your internal world is focused on what you can't do, what's not going to happen, and all the fears you have, the universal subconscious mind of which you are a part of will align with whatever you're pulling out, and they're going to give you more experiences that match your expectations. More experiences that match your expectations. The universe doesn't argue with you. It doesn't say, are you sure? It just keeps sending you validation of whatever it is you're contemplating. So if you're contemplating the sinking, the market won't cooperate. The leads won't convert. The deals won't close. You'll keep finding evidence that you're right. Not because the market's actually broken, but because your inner world is selecting and looking for proof of what it already believes. Let me make this real for your business. Think about two agents facing the same exact market. Same city, same rates, same inventory, same buyer hesitation. From the outside, their conditions are identical. Agent one wakes up every morning, and the first thing their mind goes to is everything that's working against them. They spend their mental energy cataloging the obstacles, the rates, the competition, the client who ghosted them, the listing appointment they didn't get. They were sure they were going to get that one. They're not lazy. They're actually working really hard, but they're working from the contemplation of the sinking of things. And their energy in every conversation, every call, every presentation carries that weight. Agent two has the same challenges, but their inner world is locked on the vision. Not naively, they're not pretending rates aren't higher, the market isn't shifting, but they've made a decision that those conditions don't get to live rent-free in their head. They prospect from possibility. They show up to appointments expecting to win. They solve problems from a place of confidence. Clients feel it. Referral partners feel it. The market responds to it. Same conditions, different contemplation, completely different results. That's the law of flotation applied to real estate. It's not about what the market is made of. It's about displacement. How much you move, how much space you take up, how much weight you shift by the way you think. And Dyer's clear on what it takes to stay there. He says, contemplate yourself surrounded by the conditions you wish to have. Never let your inner contemplative moments be affected by anything that takes away from the vision of what your life and business are meant to be. Never let your inner contemplative moments be affected. That's not wishful thinking. That's discipline. That's a daily practice. That's work. Here's the thing nobody is talking about in real estate training. We spend enormous amounts of time and money learning the tactics, the scripts, the objection handlers, the CRM, the marketing funnels, and those things matter. I'm certainly not dismissing them. But can you have the best script in the world and still walk into a listing appointment radiating doubt? You can have a perfectly designed follow-up sequence and still send emails that feel desperate, because that's what's living inside you. The market doesn't respond to your tactics as much as it responds to your energy. And your energy is a direct output of what you're contemplating. This is why the inner work isn't soft. It's not nice to have. It's the foundation that everything else gets built on. Dyer says when you stay in your vision and you stay there from a place of love, whatever you need will be directed your way. Not because of magic, because alignment is real. Because focused, positive, vision-locked energy attracts the people and opportunities that match it. And when that inner world is in chaos, when it's full of fear, scarcity, and the contemplation of sinking, that's what gets attracted back. So the question I want you guys to sit with this week isn't just, am I eating right? Am I sleeping enough? Am I moving my body? Those things matter. But the deeper question this week is, what am I feeding my mind? What am I allowing to take up space in my inner world? And is it the building of the ship, or is it just wood? Because that's what we've always used. So one more thing I want to leave you with this week. The iron ship was always possible. The airplane was always possible. The breakthrough wasn't in the material. It was in the questions someone was willing to ask, the vision someone was willing to hold. Your best year in real estate is always possible, not because the market is perfect, not because everything lines up, but because the law of flotation doesn't care what you're made of. It cares about displacement. It cares about the volume of your vision relative to the weight of your doubt. So this week, I want you to do one thing. When you catch yourself contemplating the sinking, and you will, we all do, I want you to pause. Say, that's the sinking. That's not where I'm building from. And then ask, what does flying look like from here? What if I just trust the law of attraction? Then go build on that. Because the law of flotation was not discovered by the contemplation of sinking, and neither will your breakthrough be. Until next time, remember, I'm in your corner. I got your back. and success starts within. Thanks for joining me on this journey today. I'm Michael Coxon, and this is The Mindful Agent. Join me next time as we continue to explore the intersection of real estate, health, and mindfulness. Looking to grow your real estate career? At Magenta Real Estate, we put you first. Our entire business is built around your well-being and your success. With 100% commission, powerful marketing tools, and a supportive community that truly cares. Success starts within. Visit joinmagenta.realestate today.